You ever drive down a road so quiet it feels like the world's holding its breath, waiting for something to break? That's Hollow Creek, Mississippi, a place where the sun burns too hot, the dirt clings to your soul, and the past never stays buried. I'm telling you about Lena Carter, a woman who stared down the devil himself and walked away with her baby's heartbeat still thumping in her chest. Lena was 34, a third-grade teacher with a laugh that could light up a room, 7 months pregnant with her first kid, a boy she already named Elijah. She wasn't loud, wasn't flashy, just a black woman who believed in voting drives, community meetings, and teaching kids they could be more than what this town told them they were. Hollow Creek didn't like that. See, this place runs on old grudges, whispers about who owns what, who belongs where, and a sheriff's department that's more like a gang than law enforcement. Lena's crime? Handing out flyers for a voter registration push, daring to dream of change in a county where the only thing that moves is the vultures circling overhead. It was dusk, that heavy kind of dusk where the sky's bruised purple and the air smells like regret. Lena was driving home, her old Honda rattling down a back road, flyers stacked on the passenger seat, when she saw the cruiser in her rearview. No siren, just those headlights creeping closer, like a predator stalking through the tall grass. Deputy Carl Tatum rolled up, a man in his late 40s, buzz cut, guts spilling over his belt, eyes hard as the gravel under his boots. Tatum had a reputation, stories of black folks disappearing after routine stops, dashcam footage that never made it to court, complaints that burned up under the Mississippi sun. Lena knew the rules. Keep your hands visible. Don't argue. Don't give him a reason. But Tatum didn't need a reason. Evening, Miss Carter, he drawled, leaning into her window, his breath sour with chewing tobacco. You're out late for a lady in your condition. Lena kept her voice steady, even as her heart thumped against her ribs. Just heading home, deputy. Long day at school. He smirked, hand resting on his holster like it was an old friend. Got a tip you're stirring trouble out here. Trespassing, maybe. Got anything in this car I should know about? Lena's eyes flicked to the flyers, then back to him. Nothing but school supplies and voter forms. I'm not breaking any laws. His grin twisted, venom leaking through. Laws don't mean much when you're on the wrong land, girl. Step out. She hesitated just a heartbeat too long. Tatum yanked the door open, grabbed her arm, his fingers digging into her skin like claws. Please, she said, voice tight, I'm pregnant. But Tatum didn't hear mercy, didn't see a woman, just saw a threat to the order he'd sworn to protect. He pulled her out, let her stumble, and when she steadied herself, chin high, he snapped. You think you can just walk wherever you want, huh? Forgetting who runs this county. He shoved her against the car, zip-tying her wrists so tight her hands went numb. Lena bit her lip, tasting blood, refusing to let him see her break. He marched her across a field, the kind of place where no one lingers, where the grass is thin and the dirt's stained with secrets nobody writes down. The horizon burned gold as the sun bled out, and Tatum hummed some old hymn, his shovel scraping the earth. Everybody's got to learn their place, he said, digging a hole, slow, deliberate, like he was planting a garden. Lena's knees buckled, but she held his gaze, whispering, You don't have to do this. He laughed, a hollow, ugly sound. This county eats the weak, Lena. You and that baby? You're just dirt now. He forced her down, the earth cold against her skin, and started piling it on. Shovel after shovel, the sky got smaller, the air thicker, until Lena's world was just dust and darkness. She didn't scream, didn't beg, just held her breath, praying for Elijah, for her husband Marcus, for someone to find her. Tatum walked away, grinning, thinking he'd buried her story for good. What he didn't see was the tiny green light blinking under her car-seated GPS tracker Marcus had installed months ago, after too many stories of accidents on these roads. Marcus Carter, 40, a man built like a linebacker, with eyes that carried the weight of 1,000 battles. He was FBI, undercover, the kind of agent who could blend into a room or tear it apart. Back in Hollow Creek, he was just Lena's husband, the guy who brought her sunflowers from the gas station because she said they made the world feel lighter. That night, he sat in his truck, staring at their little house, the porch light flickering like it knew something was wrong. Lena was late, her birthday, no less. A cake sat on the counter, chocolate with sloppy blue icing that said, For Lena and Elijah. No call, no text, just silence. His dog, Juno, a German shepherd with scars from Afghanistan, whined in the passenger seat, sensing the same dread Marcus felt in his bones. He checked the tracker app, saw Lena's car pinging in the middle of Nowherea Field off County Road 17, a place locals called No Man's Land. Marcus didn't wait, didn't call the sheriff's office he knew was rotten to the core. He grabbed his pistol, checked the clip, and whispered to Juno, "Let's go find Mama." The truck roared to life, tearing down roads that felt like they were built to hide bodies. The field was a graveyard of shadows, cottonwoods twisting like broken fingers. Marcus's headlights caught a glint Lena's car, abandoned, door open. Juno leapt out, nose to the ground, hackles up, growling at something in the dark. Marcus followed, heart pounding, every step a prayer he didn't dare speak. Juno stopped at a patch of fresh dirt, pawing frantically, whining like she was begging the earth to give something back. Marcus dropped to his knees, digging with his hands, the soil cold and cruel. "Lena, you hold on, you hear me," he said, voice cracking. Then he saw Ida hand, small, trembling, breaking through the dirt. He grabbed it, pulling, clearing the earth from her face. Lena's lips were blue, her breath shallow, but she was alive. Marcus tore off his jacket, wrapped her tight, checking her pulse, her belly, whispering, "Stay with me, baby. I got you." He gave her air, mouth to hers, counting compressions, refusing to let the night win. Juno barked, sharp and urgent, and Marcus spun around, catching a shadow at the tree-lined Tatum, watching, waiting, like a vulture circling a kill. Marcus didn't think, didn't hesitate. "Juno, go." The dog shot forward, a blur of fur and fury, slamming into Tatum's leg. The deputy screamed, his gun falling as Juno's jaws locked on, tearing through denim and flesh. Tatum kicked, cursed, managed to break free, and limped off into the dark, blood trailing behind him. Marcus called Juno back, his focus on Lena. He dialed 911, barking coordinates, his voice cold as steel. "This is Special Agent Marcus Carter, badge 9271. Obstetric emergency, female, black, pregnant, near asphyxiation. Move." Sirens wailed in the distance as Marcus held Lena, stroking her hair, promising her Paris, promising her everything. Her eyes fluttered open, glazed but alive. "Marcus," she whispered, voice barely there. "I'm here, baby," he said, tears burning his eyes. "You're safe now." She coughed, weak, but smelled a ghost of the woman who refused to break. The ambulance came, lights cutting through the night, and Marcus swore to the dirt itself. Hollow Creek was going to pay. 3 weeks later, the federal courthouse in Jackson was a circus reporters, protesters, signs screaming, "Bury hate, not people." Lena sat at the witness stand, her blue dress bright against the gray room, her belly round with Elijah, who'd fought as hard as she had. Marcus watched from the aisle, Juno at his feet, his jaw tight, pride and pain warring in his chest. Lena's voice was steady, cutting through the room like a blade. "I was driving home," she said, eyes locked on the judge, the cameras, the country. "Deputy Tatum stopped me, accused me of trespassing. He didn't care I was pregnant. He beat me, tied me up, buried me alive." The room gasped, but Lena didn't flinch. "Did you beg?" the prosecutor asked. "Not for me," she said. "For my son." She laid out every detail, the dirt in her mouth, the weight on her chest, the moment she thought Elijah's heartbeat would stop. The defense tried to twist it, paint her as confused, hysterical. Lena shut them down. "You call it law?" she said, voice sharp. "Law doesn't dig graves for the living." The DOJ dropped a bomb. Tatum wasn't alone. Evidence from a raid on an old barn, files, videos, a sick catalog of Black lives targeted, erased, traded like trophies pointed to a network. 9 officers indicted, 3 county officials named, and whispers of a state senator tied to the mess. The courtroom erupted, cameras flashing, the story breaking wide open. Lena stood, her final words a firebrand. "I was buried in Hollow Creek, but I'm here now, not to beg, but to tell you the truth won't stay buried forever. Our breath will haunt this land until justice grows." Marcus squeezed her hand as she sat, whispering, "You did it, Lena." She smiled, tired but fierce. "No, we did. Weeks later, in a sunlit hospital room, Lena held Elijah, a squirming, screaming miracle with her eyes and Marcus's stubbornness. Marcus stood by the window, the world outside finally feeling like it might bend towards something better. Juno lay by the crib, ears pricked, guarding the family he'd helped save. The news still buzzed indictments, resignations, Hollow Creek's rot laid bare bud in that room. It was just them. Lena traced Elijah's cheek, whispering, "You'll see the world, little man, and no one's ever gonna put you in the ground." Marcus kissed her forehead, then Elijah's, promising, "No more graves. Not while I'm breathing." The sunlight caught the blue blanket on the bed, stitched with love, sent by someone who'd only written for survival. Outside, the world kept spinning protests, headlines, a country wrestling with its own dirt. But in that room, hope was alive, small but mighty, like Elijah's tiny fists. So, what do you do when the world tries to bury you? How do you fight when the law's got a shovel? Drop a comment, tell me your story, your fight, your truth. Like, share, subscribe. Let's keep these voices loud, because silence never saved anyone, and the truth, once it's out, changes everything. Stay with us. The road's long, but we're walking it together.